all the other distinguished participants from the government, from the leather and sports goods industry, leather and footwear industry, friends. Every award ceremony is an occasion to celebrate. Certainly we are celebrating the commendable achievements of all the award winners today, and I'll add my congratulations to all of them who very deservedly will be recognized with these very shining and beautiful mementos that we see over there. But more importantly, it's also a day to reflect on what are the possibilities ahead of us. For those who have won the award, what they can do differently, what they can do better, what they can do in a bigger scale in the years to come. And for those of you who have not received an award this year, to see how we can get into the category of award winners. I was in fact just talking to Sanjay ji to figure out whether we have any system of encouraging new people also to get awards. People who diversify into new markets, new products, who come up with innovative ideas, who expand into uncharted territory. And I would urge you, Sanjay ji, to consider if the entire council could have some brainstorming or deliberation and see if we can have a little bit of a cooling off period after a certain number of years, because I'm sure Anupriya ji's experience would be the same in almost every award function, particularly where the awards are given based on turnover or based on volume of exports. You'll typically see the same set of companies getting the awards. Now, nobody's taking away the credit or the achievement of such players, I'm sure. And what happens after that is that while the impact of that award on Akhil's company has diminishing returns, I think the regular award winners companies has diminishing returns. We lose an opportunity to encourage some startups, some new young budding entrepreneurs. And I would urge you to make a beginning which would then be emulated by other associations or other export organizations, to see if we could have some niche segments. Segments like for the young boys and girls who may be first-time exporters, for startups, for those who look at countries where we have never had an export in the past, or countries where our exports were, let's say, under 10 million, those who have helped to grow it to a certain level. New territories, maybe in Latin America or Africa, could be given special recognition. We could also recognize those who are making effective use of free trade agreements. After all, we now have many. We have the ASEAN, Japan, Korea, two more which came into force, entered into force in 22 alone, UAE and Australia. Of course, we're getting the fruits of the Australian FTA may take some time, but I do believe many of the segments who saw potential had already started sending their teams to Australia on exploratory. You also went there on exploratory visits and building up contacts and relationships. I think we could look at some of these new areas and possibly have a system where voluntarily, rather voluntary than mandatory, those who have got awards, let's say 3 years in a row, or 3 out of 5 years, or 2 out of 3 years in the last 3 years, something like that, could voluntarily opt to stay out of the award for 2 years. And it's not my own idea. I remember that idea was first floated at one of the, probably an Economic Times award or some such place, where the thought came up that the same people are getting awards year after year. And I think this is an opportunity for you to reflect on it. We have very ambitious targets. We are in the 75th year of independence. We've completed 75 years of independence. As we celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we are hoping that this year will close with a higher export than last year. Last year we did about $676 billion collectively between the two. I do hope this year we can look at a significant ramp up both in goods and services collectively, so that despite the very challenging times that we are all facing, and I'm sure we are all in your industry also recognizing that Europe, for example, is in quite a stressed situation. Most of the developed world, which are large users of leather goods, particularly a lot of this being discretionary spending, are seeing inflation rear its head, are seeing problems in the marketplace, consumer spending is down. I must say that as I talked to Sanjay ji today, and he reassured me that your sector is going to grow from last year, I was really very, very happy, very reassured, and I would like to compliment all of you on this wonderful achievement and confidence that was reflected in Sanjay ji's comments. I've noted your point about the import of certain types of leather which are not made in India, where you have to face import duties. I'm sure we'll take it up for consideration. But irrespective of our ability to be able to remove the import duty on that, I would urge you to consider using the MOOWR scheme. I don't know if all of you are familiar with the MOOWR scheme of Department of Revenue, in which you are allowed to import any goods. It could be leather, it could be your embellishments, your other ancillary products, anything that you require. You are allowed to import it duty-free, keep it in your bonded warehouse within your factory. Doesn't even have to go into some bonded warehouse which is the finished product. You will only have to pay duty on the domestic, on the input material when you are selling goods in the domestic market, and keep your records for what is used for domestic and what is used for exports. This will certainly make your business more competitive in the export market, and you won't be required to have an advance authorization or a license for every single product or every single good that you import for the purpose of re-export. And I think you might find that this is a pretty practical, neat, simple solution to the problem that sometimes small exporters particularly face when they need to import a part of their requirements for onward export. Friends, another area that I was very happy to hear from Sanjay ji's comments was when he just spoke about the investments coming in under the integrated leather development program. I think it's very heartening to note that investments are happening. My own sense is that our industry has huge potential, untapped potential. The quality of production, quality of goods that we make are generally quite good. Probably a little bit more focus on packaging and branding could help us get even better values. Possibly our missions abroad can help you if you want to have any outreach with industry segments in other parts of the world. We'll be very happy also to help you engage with companies which are in the branded goods business who are also outsourcing from other countries.
Which is setting up 4 such commercial plants and of which 3 best are on the PPG sector. A single plant will help around 2 lakhs of farmers, creating 1,500 new jobs, while most import liquids about 3 lakh million tons of carbon dioxide emissions. This will contribute in solving Delhi's air pollution problem. We have the world's first tail-end gases to ethanol plant in a petroleum refinery in Punjab with technology from USA. Particularly to ethanol, I always make it point to highlight the success story of how Brazil has managed to effectively realize rates of ethanol and even flex engines. In Brazil, about 80% of their total light vehicles are flex engines. They have a compulsory blend of diesel to ethanol petrol, which is highly marketable. Brazil is a nation with the highest ethanol consumption and 47% of motorcycle fuels and has the complete world can adopt the Brazilian model for ethanol context. According to a study in Brazil, flex engine with strong hybrid electric technology using 100% ethanol emits 77% less greenhouse gas emissions as compared to the 6 compliant IC engines. The Indian automobile industry is working with us to offer vehicles with flex fuel engines soon. These vehicles can run on both 100% petrol or 100% bio. Recently, I have launched India's first flex fuel car with strong hybrid technology from Red. This hybrid car can run on 100% bioethanol and generate 40% of electricity in strong hybrid mode. I have also launched a 2-wheeler bike by TVS which runs on 100% bioethanol, and companies such as Bajaj and Hero have also developed models that can run on 100% bioethanol. In TVS and Bajaj are already ready to launch their flex fuel best 2-wheeler models in the domestic market. This can be a clean and green substitute for the huge 2-wheelers demand in the country. A large number of auto rickshaws can operate on 100% bioethanol. I have also recently introduced a Russian technology of cavitation energy, using which the average of ethanol and petrol is maintained. The technology has been successfully tested by Indian Oil in India. 100% ethanol pumps, and the Petroleum Ministry is now promoting setting up of experimental by private entities. Sugar factories can set up their own ethanol pump, and this will help to create local entrepreneurship and employment. Availability of ethanol and mass production of flex fuel vehicles are complementary to each other. As soon as ethanol available commercially, the number of flex fuel vehicles will increase. With the rollout of flex fuel vehicles of 100% bioethanol, the requirement of ethanol will be about 4,000 crore liters, and in achieving 10% rate in sugar sector has contributed around 90% supply of ethanol. Use of 10% ethanol blended petrol has led to a saving all of 41,000 crore in the foreign exchange for the country. While incentivizing commerce and reduction vehicular pollution, currently India is importing 49% of its domestic bitumen demand at an annual import cost of expected by government. I recently saw a presentation made by Sierra Leone and the Indian Institute of Petroleum on development of biobitumen from biomass. In the joint research project, they have developed biobitumen from livestock using pyrolysis method. This biomass-based bitumen has shown excellent properties over the crude-based petroleum bitumen. It will provide good quality, long-lasting fuel with lower carbon footprint. Indian Oil Research Laboratory has developed a technology by which pullery, that is rice straw, can be converted into ethanol, and which can be used as a fuel. In this process, we get a byproduct as a biofuel, which can be used as a sustainable material in road construction. Successful development of waste technology can save the huge import expenses on bitumen and fossil fuel from the nation. The bioethanol can also be sustainable for aviation purposes, and it can provide 50% saving on greenhouse gas emissions and can be blending up to 50% with conventional jet fuels without any modification. It is already been tested and approved by the Indian Air Force. The Brazilian Air Force has also used ethanol jets and indigenous technology developers such as Praj has the advanced stages of developing technology for a great opportunity to become biorefinery, replacing fossil crude by agro crude. I am happy to mention here that an Indian technology provider, Praj, has developed a technology to convert sugarcane juice into biosyrup, which can be preserved for a long period. This will allow the diversion of excess sugar in the form of syrup to enhance 50% ethanol production capacity. This technology will provide sustainable feedstock and offer great opportunity to small-scale sugar mills, not having distilleries or having limited crushing. To become a part of India ethanol journey, the sugar mill with its best press mud can produce bio-CNG. Our government has launched state initiative to promote bio-CNG production and working on ensuring 100% uptake. And the use of bio-CNG as a vehicular fuel is also encouraged in India. The bio-CNG is a cheaper and less polluting substitute over diesel. I also launched the first ever agriculture tractor run on bio-CNG, and the economics allow savings of rupees 1 lakh for Indian farmers. We have huge opportunity to revive sink sugar units, particularly by providing them financial revenue through additional feedstock and biofuel products. In India, about 2,000 crore litre of diesel is consumed by diesel generator sets every year. In place of diesel, we can use ethanol in generator sets. I have carried out successful experiments and I am using ethanol in generator sets provided by Kirloskar Technologies, which are giving an excellent efficiency at a lower price without any air pollution. I also propose that these ethanol-based generator sets can be used in the supply chain of green hydrogen compressors, which will further reduce the carbon count of the hydrogen economy. Further, there are about 6 lakh telecom mobile towers across India, and they are powered by diesel generator sets. Ethanol is an excellent and cost-effective alternative to save air pollution from these generators. I am also using ethanol as a fuel for drone for agriculture. Purposes such as spraying, which is an excellent indigenous and cost-effective solution for our farmers. These developments would create employment potential, and visited the hydrogen laboratory in Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, where they are producing hydrogen from biomass in a very economic manner. India is in an excellent position to shape itself as an energy exporter, and this can be only possible due to the potential of green hydrogen in India. Research and development in the green hydrogen sector is very critical, and my objective is that this sector should be developed in a manner that hydrogen can be produced at the level of households and can be utilized for various applications. The 70% of the cost of the green hydrogen production comes from electricity cost. Hence, surplus electricity from renewable energy sources can enhance green hydrogen production activities. The green hydrogen can best utilize India's most important neutral resources that are abundant, and such as solar and wind resources. We can also generate rooftop hydrogen from liquid waste using solar and wind energy. It would be cheaper and more convenient for domestic and community level application. Further research is also underway to capture hydrogen from ethanol, biogas and biomethane. With affordable technology for electrolyzer and hydrogen storage and dispensing mechanism, the cost of green hydrogen will soon come down below $1 per kg. The hydrogen fuel called electric vehicles do not produce any tailpipe emissions, making them a clean transport fuel. I am driving a car in Delhi called as Toyota Mirai, which runs on hydrogen. And India is focusing on hydrogen fuel cell technology, which is exclusively for heavy long distance trucks, buses, marines and aviation application. Ammonia is one of the safest hydrogen carriers and is heavily favored as a great green aviation and marine fuel. The green hydrogen will be the potential source of energy in carbon-intensive industries like steel, cement, fertilizer, mining, and industrial heating. India has a potential to become a global manufacturing hub and exporter for green hydrogen in near future. The sugar industry can also contribute in India. Recently launched hydrogen mission by producing green hydrogen, and I always say that the diversification of agriculture towards energy and power sector is need of the hour. We need to think about crop patterns. What are the surplus and shortage in the domestic market and the supply demand scenario in the international market. Accordingly, we need to cultivate crops and balance the farm products. India is still depending on import of almost 50% of the edible oil requirement annually. Currently, we have imported a record edible oil of rupees 1.50 lakh crores. We need to become Atmanirbhar in edible oil sector. I am sure that the deliberations over this platform will lead to growth and risk mitigation strategies, and this would help to build a more innovative and sustainable sugar and ethanol sector, as India has potential to be a torch bearer in the biofuel sector globally. With these few words, I once again thank Chini Mandi Forum for providing me this effort to share my views. Wishing you all the happy, healthy and prosperous new year. I am giving my best wishes to all of you, and I am with positivity and confidence. I am requesting to all of you from core of my heart that the future of ethanol economy is very bright. I will suggest you, in place of sugar, make conversion of sugar into bioethanol, because the surplus sugar is a big problem for the country and the whole world. As per the statistics is concerned, we have the ample production of the sugar. In Indian scenario, for helping to the farmer and in the interest of the economy, this is the time for the sugar mill, that conversion of maximum sugar cane juice to bioethanol. And I am really happy that today the process is already started. So this is the exactly appropriate time, giving highest priority. My request to owner of all sugar industry that immediately convert your sugar cane juice into ethanol. And also you can concentrate on the technology, successful technology, that conversion of sugar cane juice into sugar syrup, biosyrup, where we can store it for 6 months, 8 months, and where we can make it ethanol from that. That is really a great future for the country, and which is going to be helpful to help the sugar industry, and ultimately it is related to the future of the sugar cane farmers. I am really happy that this type of awareness and this type of innovations and research and initiative is very important.
Congratulations to BIS and the entire team at BIS on your 76th Foundation Day. It's a milestone year. You've been serving the nation since January 47, which is even before we became independent. And truly, as a citizen of a grateful nation, I would like to convey my compliments to all of you. Many years ago, I remember reading John Ruskin, the famous English philosopher, say, quality is never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent efforts. Over the years, if one was to look at the history of nations, you will find those countries which adopted quality in a big way at an early stage of their development cycle, progressed faster, progressed better, improved the lives of their people, and were able to engage with the world from a position of strength, capture markets across the world, and inculcate that spirit, that desire to have high quality products, goods, services, which automatically leads to high quality of lifestyle. In many respects, if one was to study the history of developed nations, you will find there are comparable examples who at one point of time were facing very severe challenges, some of them just coming out of the Second World War, many countries with large population, large density of population, very low level of natural resources. But if you will look at the one common feature in such countries which are today developed nations, you will find that while they may have adopted industrial techniques, modern manufacturing practices, and many other enablers, quality will be a common theme amongst all these nations. As India celebrates 75 years of independence, as we enter into Amrit Kaal, the next 25 years, during which we are all collecting prosperity to every single citizen of the country, to ensure inclusive growth so that everybody residing in India has a high quality of life. I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to pledge ourselves to take quality as our mission, as our goal, as our commitment, and see how we can contribute to making India a developed nation. And obviously, as I've been alluding, we will not become a developed nation unless we all recognize and accept the importance of quality. In fact, if I look back, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi had come into office as Prime Minister of the country, one of the first few programs he initiated was Zero Effect, Zero Defect, ZED. And his thinking was, and it's a happy coincidence that my colleague Ashwini Chaubeji is Minister both for Consumer Affairs and Environment, because we all recognize that zero defect will help us produce goods and services of high quality, serve the people. But in today's context, unless our lifestyle has zero effect on climate change, we will not be able to survive literally anywhere in the world. And therefore sustainability, and as he pointed out in his address, circular economy, our own efforts towards mitigating the disasters of climate change, our own contribution to reduce carbon footprint in the world, all of those are going to become extremely important. And therefore, when Prime Minister Modi talks of zero effect and zero defect, it is the call of the hour, it's the need of the hour. And I think collectively all of us in this room recognize that in this Amrit Kaal, the next 25 years, when new challenges are thrown up before us, new possibilities come to the fore, we will move ahead together with confidence to rapidly transform the future of India and the future of every Indian citizen. Also said, and I quote, rapid transformation, not gradual evolution, is going to take this country forward. We don't have the luxury of time. समय बड़ा सीमित है, काम बहुत ज्यादा है, and we will have to look at a transformational journey. बदलाव हर क्षेत्र में, हर वक्त, every moment will have to reflect change, growth, progress, and transformation. And I'm glad that the Bureau of Indian Standards is taking up several initiatives, and many of which we launched today have the potential of having a transformational effect on the Indian economy, on the lives of the people of India. In fact, the Standard National Action Plan, SNAP 2022-27, going forward, lays down the roadmap on which we will all have to work to make quality a part of the DNA, a part of the very thinking and philosophy of every citizen in this country. And therefore this effort of having quality clubs across the country is truly a noteworthy and praiseworthy effort. I compliment BIS for setting up nearly 4,000 such quality clubs across the country to expand the quality connect with the people. And this year's effort to reach out to nearly 5 lakh households and talk about quality is only the beginning. I was just asking my colleague Shri Rohit ji, how many engineers or technical people who may have worked in different ways with technology or would have a basic understanding of quality would have retired in the last, let's say, 15 years. And I'm saying 15 years because Ashwini Chaubey has just now brought out certain aspects of a person beyond 76. While in today's day and age it doesn't really apply to most people, because I for one know that my own father, even as struck with cancer, would not be willing to sit one day in a day at home, but wanted to get down to the factory early morning. He was uncomfortable sitting at home, and that's the DNA of almost every Indian today. They want to work, they want to contribute, they want to participate in the growth journey. But even if we were to take the number of people who retire, let's say at the age of 60, and are wanting to contribute, wanting to participate in the future well-being of the country, I won't be surprised that over the last 15 years, we would find probably 3 or 4 lakh, 5 lakh people with technical understanding. And it need not be IIT engineers or very highly qualified PhD or doctoral students. Even a person with a basic, it could be a welder, could be a welder in a factory. Because he knows the importance of the quality of welding that he does. He makes one bad weld and it could result in a colossal disaster. And like that, we would have lakhs of people who may have retired but are not tired, still have the ability to contribute, still have the desire to work. Can we at BIS, maybe through a pyramidical chain with an outreach program, one reaching out to the other, going back to alumni associations from our colleges where we have studied, going back.
Which are working on it, the NEC and NPC, they are also here. So, my sincere, I'm obliged to all of you and welcome you. BIS में हम लोग जो आपने देखा होगा स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाने में तो हमारी स्किल एस्टैब्लिश्ड है, लेकिन जिस चीज़ पे हम लोग अब ज़्यादा ध्यान दे रहे हैं वो स्टेक होल्डर एंगेजमेंट है कि हमारे जो स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं वो इंडस्ट्री की नीड्स पे बेस्ड हों, उसके लिए हमें इंडस्ट्री के साथ क्लोजली वर्क काम करना है। हमारे जो यूजर्स हैं सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की मिनिस्ट्रीज और डिपार्टमेंट्स हो, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स हो, और इवन डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर्स और डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल ऑफिशियल्स, उनके साथ हमें जुड़ना है। क्वालिटी समाज में तभी आएगी व्हेन कॉमन पीपल स्टार्ट डिमांडिंग क्वालिटी। उसके लिए ये सारे इनिशिएटिव्स जो आउटरीच प्रोग्राम्स हम लोग कर रहे हैं, स्टैंडर्ड्स क्लब हो, चाहे मानक मंथन हो, चाहे ये और बहुत सारी दूसरी गतिविधियां हैं। और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है, और मैं हमारे आज भी जब मैं सर को बता रहा था कि जब हम लोग इस हॉल में ये चर्चा कर रहे हैं, हमारे 20,000 यूथ, अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 20,000 यूथ आर इन द फील्ड, visiting households, talking to people about quality, standards, and all these things. And I'm quite confident that if we keep working like this, it should not take long before our country achieves that goal of becoming or coming up as a quality conscious country. तो इससे ज़्यादा मैं और नहीं बोलूँगा, because I know Honorable Minister of State and Minister are here, and we all want to hear them. So thank you very much.
प्रमोद तिवारी जी इसको और नर्चर करके इसको और उपयोगी सबके लिए बनाया जाए। And as we saw, not only from the supply side on the development of standards and the engaging the industry, there is a huge effort happening on the demand side, which is the creating consciousness for standards. जो इनके स्टूडेंट्स के स्टैंडर्ड्स क्लब्स हैं, और अभी जो हमने इंटरेक्शन देखा माननीय मंत्री जी का 3 वॉलंटियर्स के साथ, इसके अलावा भी जो इनकी आउटरीच की एक्टिविटी है उस पर भी ये ध्यान दे रहे हैं, और इससे बड़े अच्छे परिणाम आएंगे। बिकॉज अनलेस वी हैव कॉन्शियसनेस इन द कंट्री ऑन स्टैंडर्ड्स, स्टैंडर्ड बनाने से काम नहीं चलेगा। पीपल शुड स्टार्ट डिमांडिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स। और इस विषय में केवल 2 छोटी सी बात कहना चाहूँगा। अभी माननीय मंत्री जी ने पिछले कुछ समय से हम लोग पर काफ़ी इंटेंसिटी के साथ ये कहा है कि आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा QCOs का क्वालिटी कंट्रोल ऑर्डर्स अन्य मिनिस्ट्रीज के साथ एंगेज करके निकालिए। QCOs जब आ जाएंगे तो जो वॉलंटरी स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं दे विल बिकम मैंडेटरी, और उससे जो भी प्रोडक्ट्स उनमें कवर होंगे उनकी गुणवत्ता पर असर पड़ेगा। हम लोग सर आपके निर्देशन में ये एक्सरसाइज बहुत जोर शोर से कर रहे हैं। कल भी हमने डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ केमिकल एंड पेट्रोकेमिकल्स के साथ बहुत लंबा एंगेजमेंट किया, TPIIT, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ टेक्सटाइल्स। जो आपकी अपेक्षा है सर, जिस गति से, उस गति से अभी तक हम शायद नहीं कर पाए, बट मैं विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूँ मंत्रालय और BIS की ओर से कि अगले कुछ समय में हम इसको और गति देकर, और इसमें जो कंपलसरी पीरियड है जैसे WTO का 60 डेज का या बाकी जो कंसल्टेशन का टाइम है उसको स्क्वीज करके जल्दी से जल्दी QCOs ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मात्रा में मिनिस्ट्रीज को के साथ एंगेज करके जारी करवाएंगे। दूसरी बात सर, BIS like the world is changing, it's a very dynamic world, geopolitical situations are changing, the trade equations are changing, the tariff barriers are going and standards are becoming the non-tariff barriers or non-tariff facilitators. So we have to keep up with what is happening in the world. So BIS also has to transform itself and align itself with the best, what is happening at the best in the world. So BIS के ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के लिए भी हमने एक्सरसाइज शुरू कर दी है, और BIS का जो रोड अहेड है आगे क्या होना चाहिए, और अब जुडिशियस बैलेंस बिटवीन हैंड होल्डिंग, फैसिलिटेशन, रेगुलेशन एंड एनफोर्समेंट, इसका क्या मिक्स होना चाहिए। बिकॉज ट्रेड बदल रहा है, दुनिया बदल रही है, so we can't just be enforcer, we have to handhold like you just saw, we have to facilitate, we have to regulate, and then if nothing happens then we have to enforce it in our hand.
के प्रमुख तीर्थ स्थल समेत शिखर जी पर मतलब जो वहाँ तीर्थ क्षेत्र उसको माना जाता था, जैन समाज के वर्ल्ड के लोग वहाँ आते थे। झारखंड सरकार ने गलत निर्णय लिया और उसको मतलब पर्यटन स्थल उन्होंने घोषित करने के बाद पूरे जैन समाज में असंतोष पैदा हुआ। पूरे देश भर में बहुत बड़ा आंदोलन चलता रहा और इसको पर्यटन स्थल को इस शब्द को हटाया जाए और वहाँ जैन समाज का तीर्थ क्षेत्र है, यही पहले से जो चलते आया था वही रहना चाहिए। इसीलिए मतलब बहुत तेज आंदोलन चलता रहा। लेकिन वो झारखंड सरकार के तरफ से कोई पॉजिटिव रिएक्शन आई नहीं। झारखंड सरकार ने जो निर्णय लिया था उससे सरकार अड़ी रही, लेकिन माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने, जो हमारे भूपेंद्र यादव जी जो मतलब हमारे मिनिस्टर हैं, तो उन्होंने मतलब सरकार की तरफ से जो राज्य सरकार ने निर्णय लिया था उस पर स्टे दे दिया है और जैन समाज के लोगों को न्याय देने का काम माननीय मोदी सरकार ने किया है। इसीलिए मैं भारत सरकार में तो मैं हुई हूँ, लेकिन जो मेरी पार्टी रिपब्लिकन पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया है उनके तरफ से मैं भारत सरकार का आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ और झारखंड सरकार के बारे में नाराज व्यक्त करता हूँ कि लोगों की भावनाओं का विचार उन्होंने किया नहीं। वे एक अच्छी बात नहीं रही और इतने सालों से वहाँ वो तीर्थ क्षेत्र था, वहाँ पर्यटन स्थल ऐसा बोलने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं थी, लेकिन ऐसे निर्णय का मतलब हमने भी विरोध किया था। लेकिन अभी मतलब भारत सरकार ने जो निर्णय लिया है इसका मैं सामाजिक न्याय और अधिकारिता एमओएस के नाते, रिपब्लिकन पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया के अध्यक्ष के नाते मैं भारत सरकार के निर्णय का स्वागत करता हूं और जैन समाज के साथ हम हैं। जैन समाज पर अन्याय नहीं होने देंगे, यही हमारी भूमिका है। दूसरा विषय ये है कि झुग्गी झोपड़ी में रहने वाले लोगों के संबंध में एक बहुत ही बड़ा निर्णय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का अभी आया है। जो हल्द्वानी है, हल्द्वानी जो उत्तराखंड में आता है, तो वहाँ हजारों लोग वहाँ स्लम में रहते हैं। उनकी केस सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आई थी, तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने मानवता के दृष्टिकोण से मतलब वहाँ ये निर्णय लिया है कि जमीन रेलवे की हो सकती है, लेकिन रेलवे भी अपनी रेलवे है और इतने सालों से वहाँ अतिक्रमण हुआ, वहाँ स्कूल बने, अस्पताल बने, मस्जिदें बनी, मंदिर बने और इतने साल से रेलवे क्या कर रही थी। तो इसी तरह के सवाल भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में उठाए हैं और अगर रेलवे का कहना है वह ये जमीन हमारी है, तो राज्य सरकार, केंद्र सरकार, रेलवे ऐसे तमाम डिपार्टमेंट ने इकट्ठा कर मतलब उनका पुनर्वसन जो है, ये पुनर्वसन उनका होना चाहिए। पुनर्वसन के पहले वहाँ बुलडोजर नहीं चलना चाहिए। इसी तरह की जो भूमिका ले ली है, इसका हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट का स्वागत करते हैं और एक बहुत ही अच्छा निर्णय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ले लिया है। कभी न कभी तो इस झोपड़पट्टी में, स्लम में रहने वाले लोगों का पुनर्वसन होना चाहिए। जिस तरह हमारी मांग ये है कि भाई जिस तरह मुंबई में ये सारे नाम की स्कीम है, स्लम रीडेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी जो है, एक महाराष्ट्र सरकार ने ये सारे नाम की एक बॉडी बनाई है, उसका एक अलग डिपार्टमेंट बनाया है और मुंबई में जो लोग रहते हैं उसमें 50% से ज्यादा लोग स्लम में रहते हैं। तो वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की जगह होती है, म्हाडा की जगह होती है, रेलवे की जगह होती है, बीपीटी की जगह होती है या डिफेंस की जगह होती है। जहाँ जहाँ खाली जगह है वहाँ मुंबई में स्लम बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ता गया। पूरे देश भर से लोग मुंबई में आने लगे, वहाँ उनको अपना पेट भरने का एक साधन वहाँ मिलता रहा और इसीलिए मुंबई का पॉपुलेशन बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ता रहा। फिर उन्होंने रहना कहाँ है, सरकार तो इतने लोगों को जगह घर नहीं दे सकती है, तो जहाँ भी जगह मिलती है वहाँ झोपड़ा खड़ा करके लोग अपना अपना धंधा पानी, नौकरी करते रहे। तो महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट ने ये सारे नाम की स्कीम बनाई है। जहाँ वो स्लम वाले रहते हैं वहाँ बिल्डिंग बनाने का एक स्कीम है। बिल्डर को उस झोपड़पट्टी को डेवलप करने के लिए दिया जाता है और 310 फीट का जो मकान है कारपेट एरिया का, मतलब 450 स्क्वायर फीट का मकान उनको झोपड़पट्टी के लोगों को फ्री में दिया जाता है और आधी जगह पर बिल्डिंगें खड़ी करके बिल्डर को उसको सेल करने का एक स्कीम है। मतलब सेल करके स्लम में रहने वाले लोगों को फ्री में मकान देने का स्कीम है, तो ऐसी स्कीम दिल्ली में भी होनी चाहिए। इसी तरह की भी हमारी सूचना है, मतलब यहाँ इस पर भी थोड़ा सा अर्बन डेवलपमेंट डिपार्टमेंट ने विचार करना चाहिए कि दिल्ली में जो स्लम है उसको ठीक ठाक करने के लिए, मतलब वहाँ अगर बिल्डिंग खड़ी हो जाती है तो वहाँ बहुत सारे लोगों को बिल्डर के माध्यम से भी मकान मिलेगा और झुग्गी झोपड़ी वालों को भी मतलब पक्का मकान वहाँ में मिलेगा। तो ऐसी स्कीम यहाँ होनी चाहिए, ऐसा भी एक सूचना है। और मैं माननीय अर्बन डेवलपमेंट मिनिस्टर को भी एक पत्र लिखने वाला हूँ, उनके साथ बातचीत भी करने वाला हूँ। हमारे हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी है, उनके साथ बातचीत करके या दिल्ली के स्लम को यहाँ किस तरह मतलब डेवलप किया जा सकता है। जिस तरह यहाँ की अनऑथराइज्ड कॉलोनीज थी उनको ऑथराइज कर।
नेशनल यूथ फेस्टिवल का आयोजन भारत सरकार के युवा कार्यक्रम विभाग द्वारा करवाया जाता है और देश भर के हर राज्य और यूनियन टेरिटरी से हजारों विद्यार्थी इसमें भाग लेने आते हैं। इस बार भी देश के कोने कोने से जहां एक और 7,500 से ज़्यादा विद्यार्थी इसमें आएंगे, भाग लेंगे नेशनल यूथ फेस्टिवल में। कुल मिलाकर ओपनिंग कार्यक्रम में 30,000 से ज़्यादा युवाओं की भागीदारी होगी। और प्रसन्नता की बात यह है कि दुनिया के सबसे लोकप्रिय नेता प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी उद्घाटन के लिए हुबली धारवाड़, जहां पर नेशनल यूथ फेस्टिवल को इस वर्ष 12 तारीख को करवाया जाएगा, उसका उद्घाटन करेंगे, मुख्य अतिथि होंगे। हुबली धारवाड़ ये दो ट्विन सिटीज की मैं जब बात करता हूं तो एक शिक्षा के केंद्र भी हैं। अब इस पूरे फेस्टिवल में 7 दिन में क्या होने वाला है? 12 तारीख को शुरुआत होगी, 16 तारीख को इसका समापन होगा। कंपटीशन इवेंट्स होंगे, नॉन कॉम्पिटिटिव इवेंट्स भी होंगे, यहां से इंटरनेशनल गेम्स भी बने। यंग आर्टिस्ट कैंप्स, क्योंकि देश के अलग अलग कोनों से आए होंगे तो आर्टिस्ट को अपना वहां पे काम दिखाने का अवसर मिलेगा। फूड फेस्टिवल, भारत में तो आप जानते हैं कि हर राज्य के अंदर भी अलग अलग शहरों के अपने अपने व्यंजन हैं, तो उसको भी उस तरह से वहां पर दिखाने का अवसर मिलेगा और उनको भी अलग अलग रेसिपीज को जानने का अवसर। युवा कृति जो सोशल डेवलपमेंट फेयर है, हम उसको भी वहां पर लगाएंगे। और युवा हो और एडवेंचर कैंप ना हो तो इसके बिना तो यूथ फेस्टिवल अधूरा है, तो एडवेंचर कैंप को भी हम वहां पर लगाने वाले हैं। हुबली धारवाड़ के आसपास बहुत सारे टूरिस्ट प्लेसेस हैं, उनकी भी वो पूरा जो नेशनल फ्लैग हमारे वहां पर शुरुआत हुई बनने की, वहां पर भी उनको ले जाने का हम करेंगे। और ये सारे डिटेल्स मैं आपको दे दूंगा कहाँ क्या क्या होने वाला है। मैस्केट और लोगो लॉन्च उसका हमने कर ही दिया है और वो भी हमने जन भागीदारी से ही उसको लिया है। और अगर आप देखेंगे मैस्केट लॉन्च और लोगो लॉन्च, ये आपके सामने जब दिखता है, ये हमारा लोगो और ये हमारा मैस्केट, ये आपके सामने है। चैंपियनशिका की अगर मैं बात करूं, यंग चैंपियन के रूप में इसको दिखाया गया है। और यूनिटी युवाओं में हो, उसको लेकर हमने इस लोगों को कोऑपरेशन बिटवीन यूथ, उसके साथ जोड़कर इस लोगों को बनाया गया है। आप सब जुड़े, आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। किसी के मन में कोई प्रश्न हो तो आप पूछ सकते हैं। Themes we have picked. The first is future of work, 21st century skills, innovation and industry. So the new education policy, skill policy and various such subjects will be discussed under that. The sub-themes will be. The second theme will be the climate change and the disaster risk reduction. So the Prime Minister, the way Mission Life has been launched and the green energy, the issues of water and energy could be discussed under that. Disaster preparedness by the youth could be discussed. The third will be the peace building and reconciliation. India is the land of peace. India is the land where we can say India is the mother of democracy. That will be discussed here. The fourth will be the shared future and the youth in democracy and governance. The youth's role in the democracy and administration and policy making, from panchayat to parliament, And the fifth is health and well-being and also sports. And especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, it's important to understand the role of yoga and Ayurveda in the well-being and also the youth's involvement in sports and fitness campaign like Fit India campaign, fitness ka dose, आधा घंटा रोज would be taken up during that. अगर आप 5 themes को देखेंगे तो पहला फ्यूचर ऑफ वर्क, इंडस्ट्री एंड 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स और इनोवेशन ये बिल्कुल युवा के साथ जुड़ा हुआ विषय है. इसमें न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी हो, 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स हो या स्टार्टअप इंडिया पॉलिसी, इन सब पे चर्चा होगी. दूसरा है क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड डिजास्टर रिस्क रिडक्शन. अब ये अपने आप में इसलिए महत्वपूर्ण है, जब हम भविष्य की और वर्तमान की बात करते हैं तो आज के युवा की भूमिका उसमें क्या हो, भारत सरकार की नीतियां उसमें कैसी चल रही हैं, उसको लेकर भी जागरूकता होगी. मिशन लाइफ जो ग्रीन एनर्जी का माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने दुनिया के सामने रखा है, उसको भी लेकर करेंगे. वाटर के ऊपर कैसे काम हम कर सकें और डिजास्टर प्रिपेयर्डनेस में यूथ की भूमिका क्या हो, इस सब विषयों पे आएंगे. पीस बिल्डिंग एंड रिकॉन्सिलिएशन की जब हम बात करते हैं तो पीस बिल्डिंग आज दुनिया भर में जहां एक और युद्ध चल रहा है, वहीं पर कई चुनी हुई सरकारों के समय भी ऐसे आंदोलन आपको दुनिया भर में देखने को मिलते हैं. भारत एक ऐसी भूमि है जहां पर नॉर्थ ईस्ट का उदाहरण करूं या जम्मू कश्मीर का करूं तो नॉर्थ ईस्ट में इंसर्जेंसी के इंसिडेंट्स भी कम हुए, 89% उसमें कमी आई. सिविलियंस डेथ में कमी आई है 80% से ज्यादा. और जो पीस एग्रीमेंट्स नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हुए तो इसका भी जन जन तक युवाओं के माध्यम से जानकारी पहुंच सकती है. और धारा 370-35 के समाप्त होने के बाद जम्मू कश्मीर में जो शांति आई और जो पर्यटन को बढ़ावा मिला और ऐसे बहुत सारे, विस्तार में नहीं जाऊंगा. तो इंडिया जो मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है, तो लोकतंत्र में बुलेट से ज्यादा बैलेट की भूमिका कैसे होती है, इस पे भी चर्चा उसमें आई. शेयर्ड फ्यूचर यूथ इन डेमोक्रेसी एंड गवर्नेंस, यूथ की पार्टिसिपेशन पंचायत से लेके पार्लियामेंट तक कैसे हो, उसको भी अलग अलग लोग उस पर अपनी बात रखेंगे, वो उसमें भाग लेंगे. हेल्थ वेलबींग एंड स्पोर्ट्स, क्योंकि अगर हम देखेंगे कोविड-19 पेंडेमिक के समय योग और आयुर्वेद की भूमिका क्या रही, कैसे भारत ने 220 करोड़ वैक्सीनेशन तो किया है, लेकिन फिट इंडिया मूवमेंट में फिटनेस का डोज आधा घंटा रोज जैसे मूवमेंट्स को लेकर हम जन जन तक गए. खेलो इंडिया अभियान को लेकर गए, इसकी जानकारी भी वहां पर होगी. और सबसे शानदार बात यह है कि 5 ट्रेडिशनल गेम जो हमारी हैं, जैसे मलखंब, योगासना, कलारीपट्टू, थांग टा, गटका, इसका भी हमने वहां पे शामिल किया ताकि लोगों को इसकी भी जानकारी मिले. और ये ट्रेडिशनल नहीं, नेशनल, और यहां से ऑल द स्टेट्स एंड यूनियन टेरिटरीज ऑफ इंडिया. ड्यूरिंग द ओपनिंग सेरेमनी more than 30,000 students and youth will be present in the opening program. And I'm glad to announce that the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, he will be the chief guest during the inaugural ceremony. During the festival, we will make sure that it will be a green festival. We have already done the logo and the mascot launch. There will be competitive events and the non-competitive events as well. And the traditional games, Malkham, Kalaripattu, Thangta, Gatka and Yogasana will be part of this festival. There will be a social development fair named Yuva Kriti where they can showcase their work. There will be a food festival where the food from different parts of Karnataka and India will be showcased and people will be able to taste it, enjoy that, relish that. There will be young artist camps to know the various forms of artisans and they will be made available there. When we talk about youth, it will be Youth National Festival will be incomplete without the adventure camp. There's going to be adventure camp also. As I said earlier, there's going to be indigenous games. There are a lot of tourist places available in and around Hubli Dharwad. So youth will be taken to those tourist places, especially one of those places where the national flag is made. इसके अलावा कुछ और? Now about the G20 presidency, it's a great moment for India when we are celebrating the 75th year of independence. India is also given the G20 presidency, and under that the engagement group of Y20, which is the Youth 20, will be holding various meetings in India, and we have planned to do the Y Talks, which is the Y Talks will be held across India in the colleges and universities, reaching out to millions of Indians, young Indians. We'll be doing the Y Walk and Y Talk both. There will be walks to create awareness among the youth across the country. Y Talks will be the discussion debate on the issues of
laboratory on a huge scale to test these things. When I went to Brazil in 2006, and you have mentioned that in your initial, you talked about biofuels and a biofuels alliance. Unica and parts of the Brazilian government were making that suggestion to us in 2006. They said, we make ethanol, and they used to run what are called flexi fuel engines, where on a particular day you could take a decision when you go to the pump whether you wanted to fill 20% of ethanol or 50% of ethanol or vice versa on petrol, depending on prevailing global prices. Today, then the United States started producing ethanol from maize, and Brazil and United States could do a global thing also, but I think they were preoccupied with their own market shares. And I remember the Americans imposed an import duty, if I remember correctly, of 54 cents a barrel or something like that, in order to stop Brazilian ethanol coming in. But then they told us, if some country like India gives us a little time, but there's no point in mind talking about an alliance like this unless I'm ready myself as a biofuel manufacturer. Today, I think we are the fourth or fifth largest biofuel manufacturer. You know much more about this than I do. But today I can tell you with confidence that we are absolutely open now. Because if you are producing, see what happens when we produce, or rather, in short, 10% of biofuel blending. I saved 40,000 crores or thereabouts of imports. And I was able to pay, we were able to pay our farmers 41,000 crores. So you're not only doing something good in terms of green fuel, but you're also helping the agricultural sector. What will be the prices when you do 20% blending, depending on what the global thing is? But you know, there are colleagues of mine, including in the OMCs, who tell me that this 20% fixation we should get rid of. They're just supervision. So I tell them, no, there's no issue. 20% blending is because we calculated how much ethanol you require for blending up to 20%. I'm coming to the heart of your answer question. And we worked out that you require 1,000 crore liters. And we worked out that if that time when we started we had 455 crores liters, we have to produce the differential between 1,000 crore liters and 455, and we said we will ensure offtake. Now on your we will ensure an offtake means you produce it and we will buy it to achieve that 20% blending. But nothing prevents you from producing more, and if an international market develops, for you to sell it on your own. But there are other guys here among my team who say, you know, we will actually provide much more of an impetus, 20%. I said slowly. Because when you move from no ethanol blending to 1.4% to 10% to 20%, there is traditional resistance which you face going forward.